lagi, coba lihat deh. Coba lihat lagi. Tapi ini gimana ya? Tadi ini gimana?
Belum ada. Oh, belum. Hah?
Ini mimbarnya harus kelihatan.
Sini.
Gitu.
Aku cuma denger batang
Apa ini?
Coba, kayaknya ini udah. Nah, udah benar ya?
Udah.
Udah enggak.
Oke, sip.
Oke.
Ini mending sekalian dibantu tes bisa nggak sih?
nggak bisa jauh banget
Ini
loh.
gimana?
Susah nanti malah jatuh semua. Gak usah ngeyel.
Eh,
Loh, kan?
eh,
Gak usah ngeyel.
bisa bang.
Jatuh.
Wih,
Jatuh semua.
Wih.
Jatuh semua. Ada apa ini di atas?
oh iya lupa. Bisa bang.
Link streaming bisa ini bisa ditambah di Instagram. Bisa. Kamu lagi geser sih?
Sama ini kalau misalkan live streaming langsung kesimpan kan video ini kan ya udah.
Punya aku ya?
Tapi maksudnya saya sih itu kayak wildcard gitu loh nggak sih kayak dua kali bisa masuk ini ya dah ya mas.
Beli ini sih aja.
Tanyain di grup kan ada yang mau kesini nggak, sini dong saat menangis terus habis itu titip apa oke terima kasih titip Esther satu dong yang Fabio
Apa di sini?
ya kan mendukung lah punya temennya nggak dukung. Ini nggak kelihatan ya. Bentar. Bisa. Hup. Maju dikit lagi. Sana. Di sana nggak sih? Maju sih, arah ke depan. Nah, hup. Mundur dikit. Tengah ya. Tengah persilangan itu loh.
Presiden mau aja disuruh-suruh.
Ya udah cepet. Kelihatan kok.
Tadi enggak.
Ira. Enggak kok, aman. Unas satu mulai kapan? 23. Udah.
Salah. Ikut-ikutan. Kabarkan rampok. Lagi bilang kalau rampok.
Nih ada yang mau?
Anjir.
Diambil semua nggak boleh. Ini bisa masuk 10. Tapi aku mau maju. Gak bener sih.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the grand final round of General Sudirman NUDC Selection 2023. Yeah, give it applause, everyone. The motion for this debate is this House prefer Tomorrowland. On my right side, acting as opening government for this debate team from FISIP, with the first speaker is Mr. Azil and switching here. With the first speaker is Ms. Aulia and second speaker is Mr. Azil, and then closing government from FIB, first speaker Ms. Sakar and second speaker is Mr. Zafa, and then on my left side there is opposition team. From opening opposition, there is team from FH with the first speaker Mr. Deris and second speaker Ms. Aneng Anisha, and then last is from closing opposition with the first speaker is Ms. Dinar and second speaker Mr. Randy. And there's the adjudicator for this debate who will be adjudicate this competition. There are Mr. Uya and Mrs. Ulil Afwa, Miss Yusi, Miss Dia, and Miss Sabrina. Okay, now we come into our debate today. To open the case from the government team, here is the Prime Minister, Miss Aulia. The time is yours. Here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zolda Maharani, coming from the opening government as the opening leader, and my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Okay, first of all, we are going to talk about the status quo of this case, which this House preferred Tomorrowland. And first of all, currently, something that are happening in this world is we have so many capability gap that is currently happening in this world in terms of economics, politics, and even status, which the capability gap itself makes the life of the people harder day by day. And then the second one, somehow this AI thingy actually giving something more relevant for human needs, even when they didn't ask things for it. So that is why we prefer Tomorrowland. So I'm going to deliver my argumentation regarding why do we prefer Tomorrowland. The first one is, by prefer to Tomorrowland, we don't need to worry anymore about the capability gap that is happening in this world. Yes, indeed, as I stated before, through the status quo, which the AI thing that currently we have here, is much more helping us as human beings, which the AI itself can give us so many things that are more relevant with our needs, and even when we don't ask for it. And then, because, other than that, I have any other reasons which Tomorrowland itself will give much more benefits for us, such as economical matters, which it will let us into something that is more relevant with our current condition, such as when we are looking for a job, and then this AI thing can give us something that is more relevant with our needs, with our skills, with our capability, so that it can help us to liven up the economical system, the economical cycle that we currently have in this world. And then, other than that, the easier access that this kind of condition that makes us giving something that we can do. It makes us doing something that better than we usually do. And then this kind of action actually leading us to achieve peace and the fulfillment of humankind potential itself. Because again, we are trying to solve the problem, which this is the capability gap that currently happening here. We are trying to do something that is better from day to day. And before I continue my argumentation, is there any POI first? Okay, cool. And then I'm going to jump into the next argumentation. You guys may think that this kind of action will violate some kind of human rights or privacy or something like that. But please do remember that this Tomorrowland we prefer is not about not giving the human a freedom of decision making. You might think that by giving them this kind of access, by building this kind of system, this kind of work, we might violating the freedom of decision making for the human itself. It's not, because actually it is only for helping them to make their life easier, because they have more relevant option for their own. It is not that we are trying to control them, their life. It is not that we are trying to put their life into our hand. It's not like that. They still have the rights to choose whether they want to accept the things that we provide for them, or they want to reject those things that we provide for them, they still do have those kind of rights. Again, currently we also have our technology, right? We also we also doing some kind of things in internet access and something like that. And we also know that those internet that we have, those access that we have, also sometimes giving us something that we never asking for. Like we usually thinking about doing something like I want a home, and then it shows an advertisement about a home, but we don't necessarily choose to buy the home itself, right? So that's this kind of action. So that's this kind of movement that we want to bring here. It's not about leading them to choose it, but it's just providing them the other option that they might have to make their life easier than before. And then you guys need to know. You guys need to know that in short, this Tomorrowland we prefer is actually a condition where the AI itself can get the abstract point of life, where such as happiness, something that we like, something that we actually looking for. Because yeah, as I stated before, we all know that AI work by getting the data from every individual, even the historical data that we have. So yeah, again, basically this is just another thing that we provide for the people, how they can make their life easier than before, not to violating their rights or anything like that. And then, yeah, again, this is not counting as violating human rights as in the privacy of it. And instead, this is actually trying to reach the equality itself in every aspect. As I stated before, in the status quo, currently we have the condition where the capability gap is very high between one and another. So that by giving this kind of movement, by trying to make this kind of movement, we try to solve the capability problem that always happened in this world. So through this argumentation, we as opening government state that we prefer Tomorrowland as a form of solving global problems which gap capability. Thank you.
The Prime Minister has spent 6 minutes and 17 seconds, and now to open the case from opposition team, I would like to call the Leader of Opposition, Mr. Deris. The time is yours. Here.
Start my speech. 3, 2, 1. As human, we are unique. We have not only the ability to think, but also we have the ability to feel and respect. Giving up our dignities and abilities to actually a machine is just the same to giving up our dignity and respect to the machine, and we think it harms the dignity of human being. And we prefer like the status quo right now, and we don't prefer this tomorrow, right? Before that, some engagement toward government case, right? They say that the reason why we do this is exactly there's capability gap in the society and so on and so forth, economic gap, the ability to actually make decisions and so on and so forth. We think that first, because since they do not actually explain us about the accessibility, who is going to have the accessibility towards this AI, we think that even if this exists in this Tomorrowland, we think that those who have the access will be those who are privileged in the very first place, because we assume that this AI is quite expensive, right? Since they never actually explain us who is going to have access to AI itself, right? Even if, assuming that everyone has access to this AI itself, why this is not the best solutions to actually reduce the gap itself in the society, right? Within the status quo, we already have every scenario to actually reduce the gap itself, and we think that it is sufficient enough, right? So, for example, in terms of gap in such decision making, right? The reason behind this kind of gap is exactly because people, for example, human in the status quo, do not actually have the information, right? We need that education having role there to actually give people's knowledge that they need, for example, right? We think education can still have role in reducing the gap between human, right? But secondly, they also talk about, you know, it's going to reduce the gap of the economic and so on and so forth. We think in the status quo, we already have the mechanism as to how we can actually reduce the gap, right? So for example, access to capitals, access to resources, for example, right, with loan bank and so on and so forth. I don't see why, and they never actually explain us why the mechanism in reducing those gaps is not sufficient enough in the status quo, right? But secondly, they also talk about it's not going to actually taking away the freedom of choice in people, right? Firstly, we think the context slide actually explain us explicitly that people will generally follow the algorithm, ladies and gentlemen. It means that most of the people will actually follow what being recommended by the algorithm itself, ladies and gentlemen. But firstly, I think it's going to harm the people, of course, because they will be dependent on the AI itself. But secondly, yeah, I think that's going to be the people who are going to be dependent. Most of them will be dependent to the AI itself because exactly that's what the context slide told you, ladies and gentlemen. Argument. What is actually characteristic of human, right? We are unique, ladies and gentlemen. We have the ability to think and to feel, for example. It is exactly what makes us distinct from other existences, for example. That what makes us unique from other existences in this world, for example, right? With the fact that Homo sapiens right now can actually survive until the 21st century, show you that humans are the most noble existence in this world, just because, you know, we have those kind of capabilities to actually think, right? But secondly, why does it attack human dignity? Firstly, the unique characteristic of human is that we can think rationally, we can actually feel what other people think or what other people feel, so for example, right? This is exactly what I said earlier. This is exactly the reason why we are different from other existences. But secondly, we are dependent existence, right? The way we take decision, the way we make decision are not independent towards like other sorts of existences in the very first place, right? But lastly, defending our ability to make a decision to a machine, meaning that we undermine humans' ability to think and adapt that has been built throughout the history of civilizations. But secondly, I'm going to talk about the principle here. I think as human, we make a decision outcome independent. Why is that so? When we want to achieve something, we don't really care about the result itself, right? What's important is that the process behind it and exactly outcome are not controllable, because exactly outcome is not our control in the very first place. So when we make decisions, we tend to make a decision that are not really depending on the outcome itself. So we make decisions outcome independently. But second, the process behind it, like we sacrifice something, for example, we survive and we sacrifice something just for the sake of to achieve our goals, can only be obtained when you really use your brand and your rationality independently. That's the unique of human being, and by using it, you will always depend and contingent upon this setup and undermine the rationality. So this is exactly principally harming the principle of decision making of human being. But fourthly, I'm going to talk about the second principles that we have to use in this debate. We value utility differently, ladies and gentlemen. What's best for others doesn't necessarily mean best for us, ladies and gentlemen. AI might be predicted what's best for us, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's good for us, ladies and gentlemen. And this really need to explain as to why the recommendation that will be given by AI really suits us in the very first place, and it will going to, for example, make a good and a better decision at every day, rather than comparatively when we use our mind and our decision making independently, ladies and gentlemen. And we have to understand, I think, Judge, you need to really take note here, because exactly the context slide shows you that humans mostly will follow these, algorithm and so on and so forth. Lastly, about the impact and the practicality, right? It stops the evolutions of human civilizations. Why is that so? Firstly, the reason why Homo sapiens survived until now, it is exactly because the evolution behind it, right? Evolution comes from using our mind, our rationality, right? The way how we face some sort of adaptations in the world, the way we face some sort of other existence in this world, for example, right? That's what makes us, what makes human civilization, what makes Homo sapiens exist until today. The survivability, the sense of we sacrifice something and so on and so forth. Depending to machine means that we are going to be dependent to that machine itself, right? And not using our rational and empathy, exactly it's going to stop the evolutions of human being. We're going to stop thinking rationally and we're going to stop thinking independently with this environment. We think by depending to machine, that it's exactly going to attack your dignity as human being, and we don't think we're not going to do that under open position. Vote pro OO.
Leader of opposition spent 7 minutes 8 seconds to continue the case from government team. I would like to call the Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Azil. The time is yours here.
Si paling yun.
Okay, so good afternoon everyone. My name is Azia as the second speaker of the opening government. My gender preference is he or him, and if you like to give me POI, please give it when I allowed so, because I did not like to be disturbed. So as that being said, I would like to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we are from the opening government cannot believe from the statement that is coming from the opening opposition, since they prefer to live in the worst condition that we can offer. And before we are going to jump to my rebuttal, POI and also argumentation, we would like to further expand the status quo that has already been explained by my opening government, the first speaker of the opening government. So in this context of turmoil, there is an artificial intelligence where it's safe, independent, and advanced. So it means that this AI can actually keep up with the man of the society. This AI can actually keep the man with, like, the progress of humanity. And since it is a safe artificial intelligence and also independent, we don't need to worry about hacking or maybe like phishing, or maybe like some specific party use this artificial intelligence for their benefit. The second status quo that we would like to explain is that if my first speaker of the opening government mentioned there's capability gap, we also wanted to mention that there is an economic and also a status gap that is happening in this world today. And we believe that by the existence of turmoil, it will also solve all of these problems. And the third is that the opening opposition stated that human is different from other beings because humans have the ability to think. But we also have to remember that the ability to think that the human have is usually inflicted by other external factors such as like emotion or maybe trauma from the past. And also the concept of, humans have this characteristic of wanting to live comfortably, survive, and continue the humankind to survive in general. And we believe by the existence of this turmoil, it will actually make the human to survive, to continue the humankind, and also to live comfortably. Now, jumping to my rebuttal. So the opening government stated that education can be the solution to solving the status or maybe like the gap that has already been mentioned by my first speaker of the opening government. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, we have to acknowledge that by relying on education, it will take a long time because education is a long process, and also there's a gap between the education quality and developed and also underdeveloping country. And if we did not solve those gaps, how many years does it take for us to solve this gap issue that we are having right now? The second argumentation that we would like to give is that the opening opposition stated that humans tend to prefer the process compared to the result. However, we are from the opening government believe that is a false statement, because as we all can see right now that many of us actually prefer the result compared to the process. And we all can see that if we fail to achieve something, we tend to be sad, and even like we tend to be shunned by the society because we cannot get a specific thing. For example, fail to to getting a job, or maybe fail to getting to enter university, there won't be any society or party that will comfort us and oh, you already did a good job, don't worry. They will also be sad because we failed to get the thing that we want. And also, the third argumentation that we would like to give is that the opening of opposition stated that the reason on why humans survive up until now because we have the brain capacity and capability to actually think. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, we have to acknowledge that human is almost extinct several times, such as when in the World War I or World War II, because of the decision that they make, because of the rational decision that they make, and that has been influenced by other factors. And we believe by the acquisition of this AI itself, it will actually solve many problems. Now, before jumping into my POI, any argumentation? Are there any POI? 1, 2, 3. If not, then I will jump to my argumentation. The first argumentation that we have to give is that it will actually be very beneficial for human and the humankind in general, since it will also solve many problems. The example that we want to give is relationship. So by making this tomorrow that exists and the artificial intelligence is actually implementable, it will make the diverse race and even non-existent, since the artificial intelligence will couple two individuals from every available aspect, from their sex capability, from their status, to their economical capability, which will actually solve many solutions in the diverse thingy. And also, it will also solve many problems that is happening in many countries, such as the sex succession in Japan, where we have seen that Japanese people doesn't want to marry because they think that marriage is something that is hard or anything like that. And we also actually solve the disproportionate amount of men and women in Russia or in many countries by making two individual couple that have already considered many factors such as their emotional capability and all of that. And the second study case that we would like to bring is jobs and employer matchability. And the reason on why we think that this artificial intelligence will actually solve the jobless condition and also employee matchability is that it will actually solve the jobless problem that happens in many countries, especially developing and underdeveloped countries. And it will also solve the economic capability gap between the jobless and someone who have a job, because everyone is guaranteed to have a job in this tomorrow. Even though you do not have a high amount of skill, but you can actually still have a job, unlike the current world that we live in right now, where if you wanted to get a job, we actually have to have a high ability itself. And it will also actually improve the world economy and also the advancement of humankind itself, since an individual will place in the field where they can actually thrive in, where they can actually enjoy, and where they can actually contribute. The example of that is that, for example, scientists can work in the field because they have been placed by the air. And we also actually solve many problems regarding to the human social in general, because as we all can see that usually if we have something, a dream, for example, like someone wanted to become an athlete, but the parents rejected. If we implement this artificial intelligence, we can actually, it can actually make an individual or a child to, strive for their dreams because they know that their passion is true, which is according to the artificial intelligence itself. And the last the last study case that we would like to give is that it will make the political condition better, since it will eradicate money politics, political killing, which means killing the opposition, and also prevent authoritarian or dictatorship from happening, since there will be no more case of Kim Jong-un or any maybe dictatorship that's happening. Furthermore, it will also prevent conflict or war from happening again, since there will be no more, leader such as Kim Jong-un or anything like that. And again, we have to remember that since this is an advanced, safe, and independent artificial intelligence that we are talking about, it will actually follow the condition that is happening, safe from hacking and counting independently, and will actually make the humankind live longer and also bring understandability to the humankind in general. Thank you.
Deputy Prime Minister has spent 7 minutes 19 seconds, and I would like to call the Deputy Leader of Opposition, Ms. Aneng Anisha. The time is yours. Here.
All right, I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. All right, panelists, first I'd like to differentiate my speech into three sections. The first one is the rebuttals towards the government side of the house, and the second one I will mention the stakeholder analysis that was not mentioned by the government side of the house, and the third is my argument, the elaboration of arguments towards my partners. So first, I'd like to make all of us aware that the Deputy Prime Minister and the Prime Minister has a contradictory argument to each other. The Prime Minister stated that this AI, this independent and safe AI, won't take the freedom of decision making from human because this AI, this technology AI, will only recommend what is good and what is right to the human itself, right? So the decision will still got by the people. But the Deputy Prime Minister said that as an example, the human in our status quo world is almost extinct because we have already made bad decisions because of those dictatorship and so on and so on. So I'm going to ask this. What is the difference if the decision making will still be got by the people in status quo or in the Tomorrowland itself, right? So that's the first clash I'd like to state. And the second one, also the opening government does not explain the further elaboration about characterization of who are the actors, who will have the most impacted actors in this motion, right? And who will have the most and the least interest if this Tomorrowland if this Tomorrowland world replace the status quo. So first, I'd like to state, moving to the second section, that stakeholder analysis. First, human in general will be the most affected. Why is that? How is the Tomorrowland world will be good? Yes, in a short time span, as was stated by the government side of the house. This will solve many problems. This will solve the capability gap, which I believe is already existed by the dawn of time, right? But have you considered if this situation exists in a long time span? I'm going to elaborate that later on my argument. And the second one is the algorithm itself. You do not explain, you do not characterize how is this algorithm, which is stated in the context, is independently working, yes, but does not mean it doesn't have an origin. How is this AI was made, and how was the purpose of this AI was made in the first place, right? So I would also like to state that the government side of the house fear and scared of what happened in status quo, that is capability gap, right? But it was already debunked by the opposition side of the house, my partner, that this problem is the very and exact reason of why human being is evolved, right? We're not used to have the cure for many diseases in the past time, but for now we have a lot of cure of the disease in the present time. In the present time, we also not have the cure, for example, for cancer. But I believe if human beings keep evolving in the future, we can also solve that problem. Okay, so moving to my argument. Why is the world of Tomorrowland not causing more good than the world we have right now? It's because the value of human being itself is fully reduced to the point where we find it difficult to choose what is good and bad for us, right? Because stated by the government side of the house that the decision making will be still in our hand, but the AI will only recommend the decision for us. But no, thank you. Let me continue. Also, this AI will eventually make its way to micromanage our life. So, stated in the context, for example, we used to need to decide of what we should eat or what we want to eat, right? In the short time span, yes, this will fully help us. But what if this happened in a long time span? This will hurt our way of thinking, our way of what should we want and what should we do exactly. So comparative to what we have now, we must try to decide upon any situation we face based on our own judgment. For example, yes, we decide what to eat every day, what dish we want for lunch, what should we wear for the weekend. No, thank you. Meanwhile, the world of Tomorrowland won't put us in such a situation. We just follow what the algorithm said and not thinking of anything. We can't feel the fear of not wearing the right clothes in the situation. We won't feel the embarrassment of wearing the wrong clothes in the situation. Well, in short time span, yes, this will be good. But no, thank you. But this situation won't make human beings evolve and develop, right? So the illustrated also in the context that that this AI also work on how we should enter our relationship, how we should choose a job, what is good and us, what is possibly not good for us. But this is exactly Panos. No, thank you. But this is exactly Panos, the value of the human being itself. If this AI exists and we are limited by the choices, we can't feel the rush of fall in love to a person. We can't feel the heartbreak of falling in love with the wrong person. This is, I think, what makes us more valuable in the status quo, right? So the last section of my speech is no, thank you. I'm gonna state a preemptive that could possibly be mentioned by the government side of the house. Oh, but this is gonna be a perfect world. But there won't be any more conflict. But this make our life easier. We don't need to live in misery again. But again, why would this situation be a good in a long time span? The government side of the house failed to mention what harm would this motion cause, and and how is this the only solution to our status quo problem? That's from me. Proud to oppose.
Deputy Leader of Opposition has spent 6 minutes 29 seconds, and to close our debate today, I would like to call the Member of Government, Ms. Sekar. The time is yours. Clear.
Okay, so you may rest. You may. Okay, if you have an eye, you may call my name because I might not see your face or what you are doing. So, I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, judges. My name is Akar, and I'm here standing as a member of government who we preverse Tomorrowland. First, I will again explain about the status quo. We live in a world where humans have so much option in life, which can make them feel tired of it. Some humans also be not satisfied with their choice or decision in life because it's affected by their surrounding. For example, when you are even in vital things such as when you go into high school and then you ask your friends, should I go to this major? Should I go to this major? In which this friend doesn't exactly know what this person needed. And the problem that's come from that is, one, there is unstable choices. Humans even argue with themselves whether the act or decision they're gonna make is right or not, which later will only bring harm. That I will explain in my argument. And it causes the dissatisfaction of life. And this is waste so much time of our life. And then, okay, the urgency why we prefer Tomorrowland is because if Tomorrowland exists, actually human life will be better in terms of decision making, and our future life will be clear. And I will explain the characterization of AI. So this AI is actually like human companion, which they know our past or what we feel at the time and how we react to something, and they will then accumulate this data to something that will give us recommendation for such action. And then before jumping to my argument, I have several rebuttal for the opening opposition. The first, the leader of opposition said that generally we will follow the decision that or the option that the AI gives to us. But actually, it is okay to follow them. I don't see the harm of it because the AI itself reflects to ourselves. The option that the AI gives to us is actually what we need, what we want. And when you say that humans can survive on their own, yes, I agree with that. But we can't deny the fact that this AI or machine is gonna be helpful to us.
And then from the deputy of opposition, they say that human is evolving, but I don't think that it is worth for waiting that long. When we have AI that will help us, we can make our life easier in such a short time rather than waiting human to evolving, which costs long time. Why we refuse this help? I don't get the point. And then you say that what is the purpose of this AI when the context is clear that this is the independent AI, and then you say that we want to feel the fear of being embarrassed for wearing wrong clothes, and then you say that we want to feel heartbreak because we are having a relationship with the wrong person. But as far as I know, heartbreak only brings trauma and pain. It causes fear for us to again in the future make a relationship with someone new, and this AI prevent us to experience those kind of things. And again, no, thank you. And again, my point is this AI will help us not to waste much of our time. So, my first argument is reason why we are proposing and why we are prefer this tomorrowland rather than the earth that we are living right now. So the reason is simply because it has so much benefits that I will explain later that will easier our life, and it's actually helpful for us. For example, in terms of relationship. Well, dating apps is already exists, but it only give us choices, random choices. But with this AI, it will match our personality. For example, if I like cooking and that AI will match me with someone who love cooks or love foods, so that it will praise us. And then in the future, this healthy relationship actually can turn into something big that will make our world better. There are no more broken relationship. There is no more children who comes from a broken family, we say, because everyone match someone that have the same preference, that we will there will be less argue in that field. And then in terms of relationship, we as a human also sometimes cannot distinguish between am I only admiring her or am I really love her. So this AI is actually helpful to actually give a way for our mind to finally understand what actually ourselves needed. And in the terms I will give you in the terms of a life decision, such as major. Me as a person have this kind of biased choices when I am going to entering university life, because I don't know what am I going to do, what do I want to achieve in uni life. And I only can ask people from older generation in university life that actually their recommendation is affected by their own life. But with this AI, we do not getting confused because of someone's recommendation that is actually not matched with our condition, because this AI know exactly what's best for us. And then when I mentioned we do not waste so much so much time in our life, because there are so many people who feel like they don't belong in their job, in their current job. There are people that are switching their job because why? Because human actually did not really know what they want. They are sometimes confusing. There is time when we are confused with our own decision whether we should take an A option or an B option. And this AI is actually helpful to give us a reason why we should take A instead of B. And this is why we say that by preparing Tomorrowland, we are not wasting our time, and then human can live effectively and live their fullest. Yeah. That's all from the closing government. We are proud to propose that we prefer Tomorrowland. Thank you.
Member of government has spent 7 minutes 24 seconds, and I would like to call the member of opposition, Ms. Dina. The time is yours. Here.
Yes. Okay, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read again the motions. This house prefer Tomorrowland, and the Tomorrow contest is like in right here, and we want to oppose these motions. Okay, why do we want to oppose these motions? But first of all, I'm going to say what is lacked of the other government and also the opposition is they don't actually consider what happened after they could determine our choices. What would that people feel after they were giving this determining by the AI? And this safe and independent AI, does it mean it doesn't occur an error? Is there actually no error that could happen? And then I want to remind you all, nobody actually divide where is this AI came from. Is it from the government or is it from this one big company, right? It must have a core company that provide AI to actually control our world. Okay, and then I want to remind you all that where is AI come from? Human. And where is this algorithm came from? Human. Right? And why does it isn't actually just a paradigm or a brainwashing that smart people could think their peaceful meaning. I don't still understand from the open government that it could provide peace. What is peace? What peace they mean? What kind of peace? And this also couldn't actually define the urgency of this AI actually determine all of our choices. Okay, so maybe I'm going to start my argument. Okay, the first is that yes, human is unique, like the opening opposition said. And why does AI could actually follow up the changes of human behavior throughout after every centuries, okay? They also said that humans are rational, humans are naive. Those kind of things are something we can't predict. Even if it's from the algorithm, it may not all truly true, right? This kind, what is lacking from this Tomorrowland is this is not really concrete, right? It's just safe and independent, right? And why do we want to make this AI determine us? What is actually the urgency? They think because we want to, the government said we want to make a peaceful life, yes?
Then what is the proposed solution by opposition regarding this matter?
This?
This matter.
Okay, about the peaceful problem.
About the problems that actually happen in school.
Our solutions, okay, as the person who opposed this AI is to actually make people make mistakes, right? When people make mistakes, they could learn from it. And why do you think that people are failing to choose what's right for them? Of course, it becomes because of something that from themselves, right? It comes from why do I think I was right choosing this choice? Because I choose this. Because this is the first thing I choose. That's why this is right for me. And people who think it wasn't a right choices are the people who are incapable to adapting to those kind of situations. We from the oppositions believe that human could adapt in any kind of situations, and that's why we don't need AI. Which yes.
Have you considered the possibilities where human will extinct because of their decision in the future?
human will extinct. Okay, human will extinct because of their choices, right? What kind of choices? Making a lot of babies, or just people doesn't act. All a lot of people, majorities in this world, actually wants a family, right? That's why the people that wants child free become the minority that many kinds of people oppose, right? Why human choices could make this kind of civilizations extinct? I don't find any kind of means that AI could prevent those, because if AI actually provide this kind of determining choices to humans, it means that yes, humans can't have an evolution. They can actually have the more different kind of creativity or thinking. These kind of things are something that could push someone's mental health or someone personality, because everything they did in life was determined by an AI. They are being brainwashed and think this is the best choices for all of you. Yes. Okay, why is this called brainwashing? Because you gave a little need for human decisions making, and you also say this is AI will use because they could determine the right thing, right? And I don't think there is absolutely one right choices for one human. I think what's special about human is they have a lot of paths. And why they have a lot of paths? Because there is their decisions to making only one path. And if there is no wrong choices, there is actually no wrong choices. And how could a machine tell us there only one thing that could suit us, that could actually make something best from us? I don't understand when that machine is actually created by humans that come maybe from the big company and also the stakeholder, right? Is it only people in general? What if this is only too profitable, that big company that provide the AI? Nobody actually mentioned this kind of where this AI came from, right? And when AI determine us, it means we determined by one big company that we don't know what its motive, right? Maybe it's actually to put everyone in life. That's why we oppose these motions. Thank you.
Member of opposition has spent 7 minutes 22 seconds, and now to close the government case, I would like to call the government whip, Ms. Terzafa. The time is yours. Here.
Sebenarnya di siapa sih? Sebenarnya di siapa?
Okay,
Ada bos.
I'll start my speech.
Pelan-pelan dong.
In 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, before I start, I want to state why opposition is fail to, you know, to decision. OO and CO failed to state why human don't use AI. Is why. First, in OO, they said that first, they said that it's expensive. Who has access to it? It's actually a lot of people. You should open your eyes that there's a lot of people that is included in this project or something, and that is why this is not really not accessible. Second, it's talking about you said that people really depends on AI. Here's the thing. Human, at the first place, is depends on other people. So there is no differences that from the people is depends on other people, and people depends on AI. So that's why this is not really urgent to people don't need AI, ladies and gentlemen. And then because you know, like I said before, people are okay to depend on AI because at the first place, humans are depending on other people. Third, it's talking about people uniqueness. People can think. Okay, like the concept slide said that is this is the such AI. They knows human better, and this is talking about uniqueness of AI. So that's why this is not really making such differences, such a big difference before, from human and AI. So that's why this is a same thing. Third, you said that it's about value of human himself. They said it will affect of life of choosing things such as what I'm gonna eat and then what am I gonna change my major or something. Because if you realize in this situation, in current situations, and certain application of food and online foods, there is a recommendation section that recommend us. It's not really different, a big difference from we receive recommendation from AI and then we receive recommendation from the application. So that's why it's not really harmful because at the first place, human is our needs recommendation from other, and it's not such a difference that we receive our recommendation from A or B or C. It's not matter. And then second, CO. They said that about AI error. And you don't give us what kind of error that harms and errors and normal and simply fixes. And then humans are more manipulative than AI. Wrong choice and then we said that wrong choices wasting our time, ladies and gentlemen. And then you say that people will adapt in that situation, in the wrong choices. And we said because not all the people will adapt into such things. So that's why we should gain and we should get the right choices, ladies and gentlemen. And then you said that creativity is not existent. Yes, in contrast, creativity exists on Tomorrowland because that AI, the base of AI is receive data from all knowledge from the world. So that is why, and we feel like the opposition team is feel like AI and the human is the same brain quality. It's such a different thing. So that's why we should need AI from the first our life. So that's why we need that thing. And then we feel like the opposition again, it's opposed to it's stated to us that is our brain quality from AI, and then the human is the same because it's the different thing. And then you said that about the no wrong choices. Then why there are people who regret their path? So that is why, ladies and gentlemen, we should take the right path and then take the recommendation from the AI itself, ladies and gentlemen. From what makes us different between CG and OG, it's talking about first is the OGs not is felt to stated that future condition it would pose this motion and how did it affect the Tomorrowland and the so that's why with the better dance and then the like I said before, it's failed to state it why we don't need AI. And that is why from government side is taking a lot of advantages than the opposition team. So we think that is people need AI from their life and then choosing the path and etc. And from the reasons above, the government team proposed this motion. Thank you.
The government whip has spent 5 minutes 41 seconds, and now to close the whole debate, I would like to call the opposition whip, Mr. Randy. The time is yours. Here. Yes. Okay. I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, the first is I want to explain more about and engaging more with my partner and elaborate more on her argument. Is that the first is that the source of the AI. I want to explain first. The first is that if the application of the AI is worldwide in this world of tomorrow, it means that this AI is really good, and this AI, this algorithm, it means that because this AI is so good, it beats another algorithm that there already is. It means that this AI is only the only one is the best. And what it means, if there are only one AI, it means that it comes from one company. And what do you think the harm of this AI come from only one company? It means that this one company control the hold the power of this AI in this whole world. And with this being said, I will also to engage with the government team, and the opening government say that one of the benefit from the application of the AI is that the people will guarantee to have a job, and let's think about this for a while. If the people is guaranteed to have a job, it means this big company can and will lead these one people to make because this big company is taking control of the AI. It means the company can lead the people who jobless to work on their company. And this is only one of the example. And I will give a study case in our world, in our status quo, is that, for example, let's say TikTok, the algorithm itself. In TikTok, the algorithm will lead, and the people who control the algorithm itself can control on what the people want, on what the people need. And this is only one company, and this is only let's say a little bit of a little company, and not as big as the one that control the world. Okay, and another thing is that I want to explain. I want to help my partner to explain why why one human make decision to. Oh, sorry. Before that, I will explain to why the just giving up the determining of the decision to the no please the determining of the people the determining of the decision to the AI instead of the people, because the people, when they are make choices and the choices is bad and they are making, let's say, a wrong decision, people can grow with this. Because people, they are growing from their mistakes. With mistakes, they are growing, and they know that their choices is not really the best. For example, let's say like the opening government say, the one that say that people almost goes extinct because the world war, because their bad decision. Most of the people almost go extinct. But here's the thing, everybody. Back in the day, in the World War era, people used to feel patriotic when they are involving in war. People feel proud to themselves because they are contributing to the war of their country. And people, they love involving in war. They are, like example, they are feeling proud when they are inventing the weapon that will kill many people. And now let's see the status quo. The today era, people no longer feeling proud when they are involved in war. Let's say the cases of Russia and Ukraine. People in Russia does not feeling that they are patriotic. They hate the war because they know back in the day people make mistakes, people doing war, and a lot of people die. And with this, we can say that people just realizing that what they do is wrong. War is wrong, and they're no longer feeling patriotic anymore because they are already learned from their mistakes. And let's see, if we do not let the people make mistakes, for example, what they are doing is always right, and when they are facing a big problem, they won't know on what they do, and they won't consider what the wrong choice are and what will the wrong choice do because they do not have experience in the past. Let's. Oh, okay. The government team said once that they are only helping, not controlling the people. Okay, just I would like to remind you, and I will agree with the opposition team, opening opposition that with there are people will prefer the good choice and not the bad one. Even if they are, let's say, what will you choose between the bad and a good determining? Because of course you will choose the good one. And with this, people will never make mistakes because they will always choose the good one, choose the one that won't make mistakes. If they never experience the mistake itself because they are preferring the one that are make a good choices, and they won't ever make a mistake with that. Okay, maybe this is for me. Thank you. Okay, so that is the end of our debate today, and now we will go to the honorable adjudicators to decide the winner of this debate. To all debaters, you may have a rest before the announcement, and good afternoon, and good applause once again for the grand finalists.
Kita ngomong dari tadi di sini atau di sini?
Announcement dimasukin nggak sih? Harusnya enggak deh. Ada delete nggak?
Kamu kelas ya? Yang berapa?
Setengah 3.
Sekarang
Coba tanya dulu.
tanya. Tegar. Mendadak. Tapi kan dibagi-bagi ya.
Ya yang aktif tuh.
Oh ya, yang berapa doang? TV-nya dulu ya. Tidak pernah orang BBK.
Bukan. Ini delete nggak? Delete nggak? Maksudnya perlu ini lagi nggak? Kalau misalnya delete kan perlu ini kan?
Di pause aja.
Di pause.
Tahu. Ini apa? Duit dapat.
Tanda tangan aja.
Iya, ini tanda tangan apa dulu nanti?
Live ini. Final. Kenapa? Boleh.
Sudah ada.
Nggak kelihatan. Udah.
Ini silent round, nanti langsung ke announcement PPT.
Berarti ini enggak?
Enggak.
Matiin aja ya. Udah nih. Diva Junior. Anjay. Bener kan tuh, aku bener tuh. Boleh.
Oke. Langsung deh ya.
Hah? Ya.
Gimana sih langsung? Enggak, kamu nggak dapat juga apa-apa.